Good morning, children. How are you all today? Children, in the previous session, I introduced to you regarding Dokuru, a village located on the plateau. So, we discussed about the Telangana plateau, which is divided into upper plateau and lower plateau, and the village Dokur, which is located in Mahabubnagar district of Devarkadra Mandal, which is located 25 kilometers away from Mahabubnagar town. We tried to understand the lifestyle present there, what are the soils present there. Today, let us see about the water resources, tanks and the ponds located in this village of Dokur. The name Dokuru is actually derived from a word called as Daku, because Daku is nothing but dacoit. Most of the dacoit groups used to hide in the nearby bushes there. So slowly the name Dakuru has become as a Dokur. And today Pedacheru is the main tank. Mostly you know it very well, the plateau region is cultivated only with the help of the tank cultivation. So Pedacheru is the main tank in the Dokur village, and this Pedacheru gets the water from the Devarkadra. When there is a tank in Devarkadra, when that gets filled, then next the water gets fed into the Pedacheru. So which is around 5 kilometers away from the Dokur village. When Pedacheru of Dokur is filled, with that water it flows to the other tanks like Chakkali, Koyikunta, Vanivampu and Badi and Vampu. These all are the smaller tanks close to this place, and what we have therefore is like a necklace of perils. So this is called as a chain of tanks. If one tank gets filled, it gets into the water gets into the another tank. If this gets filled, then it gets into the next tank. So it's a chain of tanks. These tanks were actually excavated long ago so that the rainwater could be stored in a systematic manner by our ancestors. And it was during the Kakatiyas period. Even in the previous lesson also we tried to understand about the mission Kakatiya. So with such a low rainfall in this area, people devised this system of chain of tanks to capture as much water as they could. The water in these tanks also recharged the surrounding wells. So the system of the chain of tanks is seen across when our team has spoken to one elderly person in the village by name Venkat Reddy, so he recalls that in olden days one person from each farming family would join in removing the silt from the tank, clearing the weeds on the feeding channels. They would together catch the fish. The fish that was caught would be placed in a heap in the middle of in the center of the village, and they used to share by everyone. The paddy crop is now dependent upon the bore wells dug downstream the tank and not on the water drawn from the tank. Traditionally, the tank water had irrigated nearly 400 acres of land, and most sections of people had only some access to this tank. Today, most of the cultivated land depends on the bore wells, but not on the tank water. And coming to the open wells and the bore wells, the village did have wells that were 40 to 60 feet deep, but the wells have now dried up in a region of a low rainfall and low percolation from the tanks in disuse. These wells also have little water, and people have stopped digging wells. The groundwater table is very low in the plateau region, but now everyone wants to rely on the bore wells, because bore wells can bring water even from the much deeper areas. Even though only a few bore wells can be successful, over the years, with everyone digging for water, the depth of bore wells has increased from 100-150 feet. Earlier, water is now available only at 250 feet in some places and 500 feet also in some other places. Even the farmers with very small holding are forced to dig bore wells to a depth of 500 feet, and that is also expensive. Digging bore wells is expensive and risky, and you know it very well. Even if you go for 500 feet, there is no surety that you find the water, as we can see from the examples from the below. Let me tell you one of the example like Mogilanna. A small farmer says that a cost of 1 lakh rupees he spent on digging a bore well, and he dug 4 bore wells, but only one came into use. To make matters worse, water from the bore well is sufficient only to cultivate 1 acre of land. Now you can imagine what is the situation of this Mogilanna. So similarly, a big farmer in the village, Narendra Reddy, had narrated that he dug 15 bore wells in his cultivable land, in his field, for his 20 acres of land, but water is available only in 2 bore wells. Now you see, he dug 15, but 2 are successful, remaining 13. are not of any use. Bore wells are expensive and risky, but all the farmers have shifted to this system. Earlier, the small farmers had better options from their wells, and share of cut land also was there, which was dependent upon the tanks. When the system of tanks was in use. But today, only large farmers can take the risk of digging a bore well and getting the water and access from the deep groundwater. If you look at the crops which they cultivate in this region also, the farmers of Dokur grow cotton, groundnut, castor, paddy, bajra. Bajra in the sense sajjalu, alasandalu, PGNP and kandulu, red gram. These are the crops which can be grown even with little water. So people would grow mainly millets as food crops, because cotton is grown in the Nallaregadi, and here the soils of Nallaregadi is of shallow depth, only to 15 to 20 centimeters, and cotton is well grown here, and groundnut and castor seed are grown in the fields of red soils, and the area which is under groundnut farming has decreased recently due to the threat of wild pigs, and in its place farmers are now growing castor. While bajra, that is sajjalu, is grown in the white field, that is chaudu nelalu or loomy soils. Red gram and alasandalu is grown as intermittent crops in order to protect from the pests along with the other crop. But paddy is grown with the water of Pedda Cheruvu and Sampenga Vagu, and pits are dug in the Vagu. Pits in the sense small holes were dug in the stream, and the water is drawn with the motor pump from them. If the stream dries up, the paddy crop also gets destroyed. And this is a year by year, it's a regular scene which is found in Dokur. Paddy and groundnut are grown by using the bore wells from October to January, that is during the Rabi season, and the farmers say that the paddy yield from 1 acre of land is about 20 to 30 quintals only. Even the productivity is also less. Over the decades, the cost of agriculture has increased due to increasing prices of chemical fertilizers, pesticides, the use of harvesters, the use of traditional manure has drastically reduced. But at the same time, the productivity also could not be increased. This is the fate of the Dokur village, and in tomorrow's class, children, let us learn about the fruit orchards and other important lifestyles of the Dokur village. Thank you, children.